Unscripted.
It seems like it doesn't really take much to tick off, like, say, an Xbox fanboy or whatever. Lately, it's just one of those things that's more evident because, obviously, at the end of the day, we keep seeing a situation where Xbox just is really lacking games. And I think that the pandemic isn't helping matters much because we look at the first few months of 2021, and, it looked kind of dry all around, but I think that there's light at the end of the tunnel if you're a PlayStation fan, whereas if you're an Xbox fan, it looks like this year is going to be maybe even drier than last year, which seems almost unimaginable and unbelievable when you look back and you go, well, there wasn't a single AAA exclusive released by Microsoft the entire year last year, and there might only be Halo this year, assuming they can even get that done. We don't know yet. We don't know exactly how that's going to turn out, but it could turn out good, it could turn out bad, but at the end of the day, gamers are going to kind of be excited one way or the other for some of these things. And for me personally, I feel like developers that keep talking up the PlayStation 5 are really sort of leaving the Xbox behind at this particular time. And it's so weird to see that because Microsoft and the Xbox brand has been there for 20 years almost, and it just seems so strange and so foreign to me that that console is realistically almost kind of pointless already. And just as somebody who even owns an Xbox Series X, I have to say that I think that it is almost pretty irrelevant at this particular time. I mean, initially, I think many of us did maybe think that they would have some kind of advantage, at least slight advantage, in multiplats, and then that ended up not being the case. And then, we see all these developers kind of just talking up the DualSense and the PlayStation 5 and how great it is. And, we could just see from that point on out that, to be honest, that the PlayStation 5 was built with gamers in general in mind, so that's something that I think a lot of us are going to have to kind of put up with and understand. When it comes to developers, we kind of have to take them for their words. I mean, they're not going to be out there trying to screw us over, at least I hope not, when it comes to this stuff, especially when it comes to multi-plat developers. They don't have anything to gain by being honest about the PlayStation 5 versus the Xbox Series X. And I'm very much looking forward to getting into the meat and potatoes of this video. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here, Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel, and it means a lot to me personally. If you're looking for a way to help out a little crummy channel like mine, that's the best way to do it. It's free for you and means a lot to me. So thank you guys very, very much. With that being said, shout out to all the old subscribers, new subscribers, and everybody in between. You are fantastic. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. So it was very interesting because now we're starting to see how important exclusives are, because you know what, the third-party games are starting to dry out completely with a lot of the pandemic and the new switch over to the to the new generation and stuff like that. We're starting to see just how important exclusives and things like that are. And even Eurogamer is saying how Sony presses its advantage with a string of big exclusives: God of War, Horizon, Gran Turismo, and more look to drive PS5 into new homes all year. All signs indicate that the PlayStation 5 came roaring out of the traps when it went on sale at the end of last year. It was to be expected. The new Sony console had a number of advantages over its Xbox rivals, including momentum from the previous generation, brand loyalty in many markets, and a stronger lineup at launch, which is to say, exclusive games. Xbox Series X and S sold okay, and Microsoft can point to several strategic initiatives to show that it's playing a long game, cloud game, and etc., etc. But again, at the end of the day, Microsoft is still on the losing end. Sony hit the ground running and pushed hard to sell PlayStation 5s while selling games and consoles is obviously their thing that they actually want to do and kind of get out there and get the most out of. So fortunately for Sony, this is the best strategy proven time and time again over the years, not least by Nintendo, and it's a strategy Sony is inevitably well equipped for. Having spent a quarter century building a network of talented first-party studios and publishing eye-catching marquee games to critical acclaim, this is how come the company was ready for the PlayStation 5 launch in terms of quality, if not quantity, with cross-gen crowd-pleaser Spider-Man Miles Morales, brilliant freebie Astro's Playroom, and PS5 exclusive Demon Souls. It looked a little thin on paper, but in the real world, at the end of a pandemic year, it was a majorly impressive showing. Worldwide Studios, the production group led by former Guerrilla boss Herman Hulst is pledging to keep up the pace. There are no less than 4 major releases in fan-favorite PlayStation franchises scheduled for 2021. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart from the recently acquired Spider-Man dev Insomniac is due in the first half of the year. It might be the strongest indication yet of the new experiences these consoles offer, with the PlayStation 5 fast-loading enabled instant seamless transition between the game's colorful and bustling worlds issuing from deep within Insomniac's comfort zone. So Gran Turismo 7 seems to have drifted from the first half release window to just 2021, which could set some people up. But again, Sony has a very smart tendency to space their releases out. It's pretty far along, so it looks like that's going to be coming out at some point this year. In the second half of the year, we're due sequels to two of Sony's biggest and most beloved hits of the PS4 era: open world action adventure Horizon Forbidden West from Guerrilla. Doubtless a graphical, lush and sprawling game, even though it will grace PS4 as well as PS5, has been pinned on the second half of the year, and God of War Ragnarok, about which is next to nothing is known except for its surprising existence and 2021 release year. If any of the games slip into next year, it'll probably be God of War according to them. Nevertheless, as a publishing schedule, it remains a powerful statement of intent. The definition of bringing out the big guns. Horizon, Gran Turismo, and God of War are all potential 10 million plus sellers, and they will all sell consoles by the truckload. Although it's worth relating that of these games, only Gran Turismo 7 and Ratchet & Clank are guaranteed PS5 exclusives. As I kind of covered that in other previous videos as well. Sony's commitment to general shift has been changed up a little bit thanks to the big install base of the PS4. There's much more though. So in March we get Returnal, a Sony published sci-fi shooter from Finland's House Marquee. PS5 players can also expect 2 very alluring timed console exclusives for the unlikeliest source: Microsoft-owned Bethesda Arcane Assassination Groundhog Day Deathloop, and the striking paranormal action game Ghostwire Tokyo from Tango Gameworks. They might not be blockbusters, but they both have serious conceptual style. Perhaps the least clear part of the picture is what major third parties intend to do. There are precious few AAA releases confirmed for 2021. As it stands, and we don't know yet when publishers like Ubisoft and EA and Activision will feel comfortable releasing their games exclusively on the new consoles rather than going cross-gen. But as such, in Sony's publishing clout, they barely need third parties to get through this year. It has a fantastic slate if it all comes together in what continues to be extremely challenging working environment for just about everyone. So this is what I was talking about. When you have not only just a company like Sony, and that leadership, but you have that situation where Sony's out there, able to create things during such stressful times that we're facing right now. I mean, if you think about it, Sony can afford to just kind of sit back and let their first party do the talking this year, and Microsoft will just have to sit there and take it like the idiots that they are. And I don't mean to sound like a jerk about it, but let's just be real. Microsoft was out there making all these big bold things about next gen and all this kind of stuff, and at the end of the day they didn't deliver on that. They're not delivering. It doesn't look like they're going to be delivering anytime soon. We just see a lot of excuses from their fanboys and from the Xbox leader, the cult of personality himself, Phil Spencer. Whenever he talks about something, it seems like it's just directly contradictive of something else he already said. So, that's no help there. And, at the end of the day, I do feel like, Microsoft probably picked the wrong things to kind of go after. They when you're creating a console and it takes 5 years to create, that's, you can create a game or two within that 5 years too. So why not do that? I'll never understand why Microsoft didn't have more eggs in their basket than Halo, especially given how poor 343 Studios have been, to be completely frank and honest with you guys. So yeah, I would love to see them kind of step up to the ball and do something different, because again, Sony has their brilliant first party and their deals that Microsoft doesn't seem to be willing to do, and Microsoft doesn't really have anything. I mean, if you look at what Microsoft has, more and more people are kind of calling them out for the lack of games and the lack of big content and lack of big releases, because they've kind of stuck with these little mid level kind of releases on Game Pass, and they think that that's what everybody is going to be happy with, and that's just can't be further from the truth, especially for someone like me. You know, I love those big AAA games. There's nothing wrong with AA games and smaller games, but I think you need those AAA to sit there next to them as well, and that's what Microsoft is missing tremendously, unfortunately. You know, I would love to see them kind of go out there and, you know, get that kind of alleviated, get those problems alleviated, but will that actually happen? You know, hey, anything can happen, but at this particular point, I don't exactly think that that's going to happen. You know, Microsoft kind of screwed themselves over the way that they do things, the way that they handle things, and, you know, we'll have to see how that works out down the future for everybody. So I will link this, and you guys can let me know what you think. Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe. Please take care of one another, and, you know, at the end of the day, just be kind and safe and happy and healthy. I hope you guys all have fantastic evenings. Rack 'em up. Game on, my friends. Game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.